Okay. I wouldn't write that down till they saw me. Yeah. You can sit back down, boss.
Right, Committee on Parole's call to order today is Tuesday, September 19th, 8:23 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey, along with Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Anthony Marabella. Be your panel, staff and support seat at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, and staff and support, please introduce yourself.
Winnie Trustworth, Carla Williams, Denise Evans, Sharita Owens.
All right, our remote location is Caddo Correctional Center with staff and support at Caddo. Please introduce yourself. Staff and support.
Tasha Rich, classification.
Rick Fast, jail commander.
Okay, thank you. Ready for our first case? Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
My name's Nicholas Charles Campbell, DOC number 579383.
All right, Nicholas, we're here for parole revocation hearing. I'll read some charges. You'll plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. We'll ask some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement, take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir. My witnesses just chimed in as well.
Okay, and I'll let them speak at the appropriate time. It looks like it's Emily Wiggins and Wade Free. Can you read and write?
Yes, sir. I'm college
Yeah.
educated.
Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
All right. Nicholas Campbell, DOC number 579383. Rule number 2. You failed to report to Shreveport District Office as well as report when directed by your officer for the months of July, August, September, October, and December 2022. How do you plead?
I'm going to go not guilty.
Not guilty. All right. Number 3, you have been found to be repeatedly not living at your provided residence. You were informed numerous times of this violation and to correct it. You have been found to be staying with your uncle who lives in Frierson, Louisiana, in the parish of DeSoto, which is not in Shreveport District Office's territory. You did not have your officer's permission. How do you plead?
Not guilty as well.
Number 4. You committed the offense of domestic abuse, child endangerment on 12/30/2022 and was subsequently arrested by the Caddo Sheriff's Parish Office. The charge CDO #3923884 was pled down to misdemeanor disturbing of the peace due to plea bargain issued by Caddo DA being unable to prosecute the charge. The victims are Campbell's wife, Emily Wiggins, who at the time of the offense was pregnant with your son. Wiggins refused twice to testify when called upon by the Caddo DA for the offense leading to the plea deal. How do you plead?
Not guilty as well.
Number 6, you failed to show proof of employment during your supervision period.
Not guilty. My wife has my tax returns as proof and my company receipts.
We'll get it in a minute. We still got some more to go.
Not guilty as well.
Okay. You failed repeatedly to answer questions by your officer concerning your drug use over the term of your supervision. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
You were ordered to enroll in and complete 2 separate substance abuse programs after being found tested positive for multiple illegal substances. You have refused to comply with treatment as ordered to do so by your officer. How do you plead?
Not guilty as well.
Okay, through multiple attempts in every month of your supervision, you have failed to be at your residence to allow your officer to perform his duties. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
You're in arrears $630. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay, so that's a lot going on. So tell me what happened. So you tell me what happened to, and why did they come for domestic abuse, battery? Why did they come for child endangerment? What happened?
I was told Man, I wrote a speech. I'm just gonna answer your questions.
Yeah, just answer my
Right
question.
from the hip, man. I'm not gonna do the speech still. My wife is here as a witness, man. Morally, I was wrong. I was cheating on her. She got pissed off at me, and she fabricated something, and I went to jail over a false accusation of domestic. She's a school teacher. She takes good care of my kids. If she would have came to court and said, "Hey, I lied on them," they would have arrested her for perjury, and she would have lost her job. So I sat back and did what my lawyer told me to do. I never touched her. The charge got thrown out completely. Anything pertaining a victim got thrown out. What I pled to was a non-moving traffic citation, like disturbing the peace. And she'll tell you the same. It was a fabricated whole ordeal.
So what about they have you testing positive to multiple drugs? What's that about?
Okay. I believe that was in the month of October. I failed one drug test. Okay. And he told me to go to a rehab facility. I said, no problem. I'm going. I called. I called and they said, yeah, you have to get on health insurance. I said, okay, I'm going to get on my wife's teacher's health insurance. I run my own company. I repair 18-wheelers and Harley Davidsons. So I was on a customer's bike and I got my legs taken out from under me by a drunk driver. I was put into the hospital. I was prescribed and I had rods put from my hips to my ankles. I was in a wheelchair. After November 10th, on November 10th, I got ran over. But from November 10th to December 30th, I was on fentanyl patches, bound to a wheelchair, and Percocet 10s. I called, and my parole officer knows about this whole ordeal. As soon as I got hit by the drunk driver, I was on a business test drive, and I called and I said, "So do you still want me to go to the rehab that before for that one drug test I failed?" He goes, yeah. So he called him and they said, "We're not taking him. He's in a wheelchair and he's prescribed fentanyl patches. He ain't coming to this program." And that's what happened, man. I just recently am able to walk in my pain meds. I'm good now, but
No, I got you, but obviously you have a drug problem. You tested positive for methamphetamines, amphetamines, THC, and ecstasy. I mean, before your accident, I understand. I hear what you're saying about the accident. I mean,
yes,
but-
sir. I did fail one drug test. Yes, sir. The whole 6 months I was out, I failed one drug test. I failed one drug screen.
So you've had a drug problem in the past, though, right? According to no.
I dabbled in the month of October. I dabbled with some speed, ecstasy pills, I guess, or they got all kinds of stuff in them other than what you're being told they got in them. I failed one drug screen. I apologize.
Well, so what's the deal with the parole officer then? I mean, he says he can't find you, says you weren't at the residence, says you were at your uncle's house. I mean, so were you always at the residence you're supposed to be at? Were you staying with your uncle? What was up with that?
Now from November, yes, I had to. Emily couldn't get me on and off the toilet and in and out my wheelchair. But from November back, from June to November, he came to my house every month and talked to me in my living room, seen me in my garage working on bikes. He knows I was working and making money. I showed him my receipt books, and he came over and there was a different Harley Davidson on a lift table every time he came over. 18-wheelers in my driveway I'm working on. And then every time he came, it's like, okay, so 2 of the months he came, he told me, well, since I laid eyes on you in your living room, don't worry about coming to my office. He told me that 2 months. And the other 2 months, I probably didn't go to his office, but, I had to stay at my uncle's after November because Emily couldn't get me on and off the toilet. And I told him exactly, I stayed in constant contact with the man.
You told him, you said, hey, I'm gonna be gone.
Via text messages. Me and him were texting back and forth. I constantly called him. I never absconded or none of that. He knew where I was. He knew where I was after my accident, and he laid eyes on me every month in my residence. So I don't know. And my wife will tell you the same, you know.
So somebody's not telling the truth is what you're saying. You're saying he's not telling the truth. Is that what you're telling me?
I know I was out 6 months and he came to my residence 4 times and seen me. And I went to his office 3 times. So something's not adding up, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to be clear here, Mr. Campbell. You're saying that you and her are legally married, right? You call her wife, but y'all legally married or not?
No, ma'am. We've been together since 2013.
So you're not legally married. So you really can't be on her insurance if you're not legally married.
Yes,
Supposed to be. You're not supposed to be. But I just want to be clear now, just for me. Just keep it simple for me. The calling of the police, all of this shenanigans that Mrs. Wiggins did, your statement to us today was that was all a lie. She was just jealous because she found out you was cheating with another lady, and nothing happened between you two.
no, she's here to say the same, I believe.
But that's what your statement is to us. You're the one that's on parole, not her.
Yes, ma'am. I never put my hands on Emily at all. We had some arguments, but I've never put my hands on her.
She lost some days at work. So all of that was all that was not true. She didn't have to miss work because she was scared of you and she had to go live with her auntie because all of that, none of that was true.
I was at the house working on vehicles and she didn't want to be around me is what the deal was.
So she didn't want to be around you, not because she was scared of you.
No, she wasn't.
Okay, I just want to be sure now, that's your statement, that nothing happened, you and her getting along fine, it's just that she found out you were cheating on.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I shouldn't have done that. She's a good girl, man.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I can agree with you there.
Okay, all right, we'll hear from Miss Emily Wiggins. Is she there? Is she here?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey,
I believe you received my letter or speech in the email. So I stand by that. I chose not to testify because I did fabricate some things. I was very angry and very pregnant at the time. And it just got blown out of proportion, and I was uncomfortable when they did call me before the DA to testify because I knew I would get in a lot of trouble. When I did speak to the supervisor who conducted the interview, they stated to me that I could potentially still be in trouble for fabricating false accusations against Nicholas. So I'm going to watch what I say regarding that, but I did fabricate the incident.
so you, because you spoke to him multiple times, so you fabricated it multiple times when you spoke to the parole officer.
Yes,
So nothing happened, is what you're standing.
yes.
Because you said you said some things that were fabricated. What? So not all things. Some things you said were true, or
No,
nothing.
it was fabricated. I'm just trying to watch what I say on here. That's all. Because I don't want to be in trouble.
Okay, got a question right here.
Ms. Wiggins, let me ask you a couple of questions. I've read the parole officer's notes. You apparently have contacted the parole office on a number of occasions, complaining about being afraid, wanting restraining orders against Mr. Campbell. Are you telling us all of those things you told him all of those times is a lie?
Yes.
All right. We'll hear from Mr. Wade Free now.
Hello, sir.
Hey,
I was just gonna state that, Nicholas, after he got, severely injured, I did have to assist him because, he's never been hurt that bad before, and he really needed a lot of help. And with that being his leg and ankle and not really being able to stand, he had a hard time, at first. So, I mean, he only come out, and he stayed with me at least the first 2 weeks of, him getting severely injured.
okay. All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, Nicholas, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, these are, I know it sounds wild, him saying that he came to my residence and I wasn't there, but I know that he came to my residence 3 or 4 months and told me not to come to his office. Emily remembers that. That should be, and then in the month of November, he came to my residence and seen me in the wheelchair. And he said, well, I guess you can't come to the office this month neither. And that's supposed to be in that incident report. And I don't know, if y'all were to cut me loose, I have a good little business and a company and a way of providing for myself and my family out there. But if y'all were to cut me loose, I have another 18, like a little 18-wheeler shop I work out of Firestone. I'd be moving to Firestone and still, running my little business and helping Emily provide for my family. It's tight on them right now, man, on money. And I'd really appreciate it if I'd have one shot, go run my little 18-wheeler shop and help her out.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for your comments. The staff have any input there for us at all? I apologize. I didn't ask you guys.
Well, he's been here since December 22. He's had 2 write-ups, one write-up for not having a sale inspection order. That was in January of 23. And in 8 of 23, he got a write-up for some inappropriate statements.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. Now, prayer to vote, Mr. Marabella.
All right, Mr. Campbell, let me tell you, I've reviewed the entire file. You're gonna hurt your wife or your girlfriend. I think you're a dangerous man. I think you've lied to us today. You got your wife or your girlfriend to lie to us today. I've looked at all the reports. She's contacted probation and parole on a number of occasions because you're dangerous and she's worried about you and she's scared of you. She refused to testify against you, and I understand why, because you're a very manipulative guy. You've got a serious problem. You've got both emotional issues, I think, and drug issues, and I think you need some help. I believe you're a danger to society and a danger to your girlfriend. My vote today, I find you guilty of all counts, and my vote today is to revoke you.
Ms. Pearl.
My vote is the same for the same reasons.
And I vote to revoke your parole today for the same reasons as stated. Found you guilty to the charge. 3 votes to revoke. Today your parole has been revoked. We'll adjourn at 8:42.
Wow. I think the board handled this beautifully. Mr. Mirabello with the mic drop. I think you're a very manipulative person. I think your girlfriend is afraid of you. And we have seen this classic manipulative line multiple times. This guy thinks he's so brilliant where he's sitting in prison and he's calling her his wife over and over and over again. My wife, my wife, my wife. And I think it was Miss Wise, and good on you. She handled this great. She said, is she your wife? And he's like, oh, no, it's a, girlfriend. I mean, not even fiance. It's like, but we've been together since, and it's just classic manipulation that he's doing on her. And, what was interesting about this case was hearing his girlfriend state over and over that she was nervous about maybe getting charged with lying, and that the DA maybe had threatened her and she was nervous about it. And it's really the first time we've ever heard anyone say that. We have seen how many, I can't count, of parole revocation hearings where the spouse, the girlfriend, the wife shows up and just straight up says, I made it up. And sometimes they did make it up. It's very clear that they did, and many times they didn't. But never have I heard any of them even cross their mind that never did it seem like it crossed their mind that they were afraid that maybe they can get charged. And, this, I don't know if you've seen it, it's kind of going viral now. Richard shared it with me. There was some Instagram person that went on a podcast and openly was bragging about how she got her fiance or boyfriend in trouble by calling child services on the kids and making a whole story up. And she thought it was hilarious. And she's publicly admitting it. And there was like no repercussions for it. And hopefully they will do something. But I've been saying this after seeing how prevalent this problem is. People do need to be held accountable, and they need to be held accountable when they lie. Absolutely. And they need to be held accountable if they retract their statement. I'm not saying send them to prison. Maybe they have to take a program, the same way you can take a class if you get too many points on your license. It's a headache. You don't want to do it. So maybe you'll think twice, because you do have some repercussions that you'll be facing by doing this. And, it's just the strangest thing. It makes you wonder, like, what is it, what is it that she sees in him? She, I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but she looks like a sweet, wholesome, good girl, right? And here she is, finding herself in the situation with this guy, as Mr. Mirabella said, who is a manipulative abuser. And, some people are just attracted to these type of relationships. You can't get into the psychology of it or nothing, but he's sitting here you don't go like this, and you don't, the cases when they make it up, it's like one instance. They call the police, they're mad, they caught their person cheating, and they go through that process. Here, she's been calling over and over and over and saying, I need help. I'm fear for my life. I need restraining orders. This wasn't a one-time thing. And then she shows up, and then even he's like, I think she's going to come on my behalf. I don't know. And yeah, I think she is afraid of him. We don't know how much time he's backing. We don't know, I don't have any records on what he's initially in for. Is it 5 more years till he gets out? Is it 10? But when he will get an opportunity for parole. And if he does, we will share the parole hearing whenever that happens here. But he was, the information I have, yeah, he's been locked up on a revocation hearing for 264 days. And man, that always does hurt when someone was wrongfully locked up and they spend nearly a year in jail before the revocation hearing. That's always terrible. But, and it is super unfortunate about his accident, of course, and that's bad timing. But then he, it's like, well, I had one positive test. It's like, really, you were one positive test for meth, man, and also for it's like, and he's just trying to say, it was this one time. I'm happy he was called out. I'm happy they said what they did to him. And gosh, I hope that she can see some common sense. Through all of this. But with that, I'll let you go.